What's happening, everybody? This is Jim from JCRC. I figured I'd give you guys a little Carnage overview from yesterday's tandem trail run. All right, there is the WL Toys 10428A. Yesterday I had installed these Boom Racing 1.9 aluminum beadlock wheels. I believe the design is called Sandstorm, I think. So I installed those wheels yesterday, and I installed these Proline Super Swamper TSL SX XL tires. They are 1.9s, no foams in the tires. XL means extra large. I never showed this yesterday on camera, how big these tires actually are, but they're pretty close to these 2.2s. These are 2.2 RC 4-wheel drive mudslingers. Proline 1.9 XL Super Swampers. Not much of a difference there, just a fraction of an inch. So pretty big for 1.9s. But nevertheless, I put these bigger tires on. I have a locked up front differential, no foam, so a lot of traction. Equaled out the braking things. So I know I broke one of my Allen keys that I put inside this CV spindle. I broke one of those yesterday on camera, and then I continued to film for like another 45 minutes, or I didn't continue to film, I continued to drive for another 45 minutes off camera, exploring that whole new area that we found yesterday. And there's a lot of cool spots over there, and I was trying to teach Thano, like I said, it was his first time crawling, so I was trying to teach Thano some of the finer points of scale crawling and, using your imagination and putting yourself behind the wheel and all that good nonsense. So regardless, in the process of doing that, I was cruising around in 3-wheel drive, and then eventually I was down to 2-wheel drive, because I destroyed my whole front end on this truck. So I'll show you all that carnage. Another thing, I didn't show this on camera. Sorry for bouncing around here. I put these little recovery straps on here off camera. I bought these extra tow hooks a long time ago. This is a monster tow hook. Had a clasp on it. I'm notorious for losing these hooks, so I bought a few extras. Nevertheless, I figured I'd use one of the extras on here. It's hooked up to this little cable right here. This cable has a little clasp on it where you can connect it and disconnect it. The cable actually came with these Kong tow hooks. I think these are like rated at like 100 pounds or something like that before they can break. But I don't know if it was a limited edition or limited supplies or what the deal was with them, but I ordered 2 of these, and they came with those little cables for like a keychain. So I put one of the cables right here and hooked this up to it for a little recovery strap. And it's a bungee cord, so it kind of acts like a snatching strap when you're pulling somebody out. And then I use my other Kong tow hook on the back with another one of those cables and another bungee cord tied to my frame. For another recovery point or tow point. I was going to put it down here through this little block on the back of the axle. There's a little gap down underneath it right there, so you can take this apart, and I was going to tie one of those cables, that actual cable part right there, I was going to tie it right through that block and just leave it hanging. But a lot of things I discovered on this truck when I was taking it apart, from the rear end cover to the wheels to a lot of different things. Like on the rear end cover, three of the Allen screws, my Allen wrench fit in just fine, but like the 4th screw, it was like a totally different size, or it was stripped out, and I had to use like a bigger Allen wrench to pull it out. Well, it was the same with these up here. 3 of the screws came out without a problem, and then the 4th screw, it was like I almost had to use a Torx, to put on it. And I started taking it off, and I was just like, forget it, I'm not going to do it, and I just tied it up here instead. So nevertheless, instead of having it on the axle, it's on the chassis. I know it's not as strong, but whatever. That's where it's at. Alright, so let's take the body off. I already unscrewed that. Preemptive strike. So yesterday I broke this, well, I thought I broke the Allen key on this, but that drive shaft looks like it's sitting up pretty high there. I haven't looked at that. Wow, holy mackerel. What's going on here? Holy cow. I broke that entire drive shaft. Alright, well that kind of goes to show you the quality of the metal that WL Toys uses on their trucks. Is that cup still in there? I'm trying to look off camera. Yeah, it's still there. The other half of the drive shaft is still sitting inside that spindle, so my Allen key obviously held up to the stress, but like anything, as soon as you start putting heavy duty parts on or stronger parts on, the things just start breaking further down the line. So my Allen key held up. I thought that broke yesterday. I didn't realize that my drive shaft actually broke. That's kind of a bummer. That means it's going to be a little bit tougher to fix. That sucks. Alright, so drive shaft broke yesterday, apparently. And then this part I did know about because it was obvious. I seen it on the trail. I broke that dog bone coupler there that goes into the transmission. Split it in half. No good angle at it. You see the top half of it there. You might be able to see some of the metal. I can tell on camera that it's cast aluminum or cast whatever. Pop cam metal. I can see the cast. Or the you know, the way the material kind of shatters and fractures away. So nevertheless, broke that, and my Allen key is still intact on this side because it's still spinning the drive shaft. So the WL Toys 10428A is out of competition for a while. She's going to be down and out until I can replace some of those parts. It's probably not going to be anytime soon, maybe in a couple weeks or something like that, but I'm just going to have to upgrade to metal everything, heavy duty everything. By the time it's all said and done, it's not even going to be a WL Toys anymore. You know, it's going to be, you know, Vatera Ascender and, you know, Vanquish parts and whatever other parts that, you know, go on a truck. So, because like I said, as soon as you start adding things, or not adding things, but as soon as you start beefing things up on the vehicle, your problems are going to progress further down the line. I mean, the first thing I did is I replaced my wheel hexes, the plastic wheel hexes, with aluminum wheel hexes. And then, you know, it shifted my problem to the next thing to break. And the next thing to break was the pins on the CV joints. And I put heavier duty pins in there using the Allen wrench. So the next thing to break was, I guess, the drive shafts, or the couplers on the differentials. You know, that's the next thing to break. And it's just going to progress further on down the line. So I'm just going to go through and put all steel running gear in it, drive shafts, gears, you know, metal, everything that I can, you know, except for like suspension stuff. I'm going to, I plan on just leaving that stuff plastic for as long as possible. The belly pan on the car, the chassis on the car, leave that plastic, leave the trailing arms plastic, leave the A-arms plastic, just for the simple fact that plastic slides over rocks better than aluminum. You know, aluminum, as soon as it starts getting gouged up and scratched up, man, it just grabs on that rock and it'll stop you dead in your tracks. So at least with plastic, you have a, you know, even if it gets scratched up, yeah, it's going to grab a little bit, but nowhere near like metal does. So I'm going to leave that as it is for a little while. Gonna have to upgrade everything on this thing to steel everything. Like I said, it's they've got those cheap little pins everywhere. They've got them here on the rear drive shaft joint. They've got those cheap pins, and they got them up here in the front where it goes into the transmission, right there. And right here, you can see it through here, right down there below my finger. That's the drive shaft that goes from the transmission to the front differential. That little pin's gonna shear. And once you put a heavier pin in there, then that coupler where the drive shaft connects to the front differential right there, that little slip yoke or whatever, or that little dog bone coupler or whatever, that's going to snap. So yeah, like I said, the problems are just going to progress further on down the line. So it's going to have to get upgraded to metal everything. I want to I want to rebuild the transmission as well. And you know, put some metal gears in there and put like an underdrive gear set in there. The gearing on this is kind of tall, a little bit too tall for, you know, doing any kind of scale crawling. So yeah, I plan on just upgrading all that and underdriving it so it's lower gearing in it. Like I said, eventually it's not even going to be a WL Toys anymore. You know, so that's where we're at with this guy. She's sitting off to the side for the moment until it until it goes under the knife for some major reconstruction surgery on it. And then as far as the trail finder goes, I found this just before I did this video. See that hanging there? It is a leaf spring hanging. And I didn't even drive this truck yesterday, so I don't know where, I don't know when I broke that, but I know just before I started filming this video, I seen that thing hanging there. So I got one more red super soft leaf spring left over from the original pack. You know, to this spring's credit, it's been on the truck since February 25th. That's when I built the truck. So they've been on there since then, and I think I filmed over 70 videos with this truck. So they've lasted a long time. This other one is cracked in 3 places here. That was on this back corner. I did a video on that. I think it was called Super Broke Leaf Spring or something like that. When that one broke, I replaced I took the other one off the back, which was this one here that was on the passenger side. I removed that one, and then I just started running the stock leaf springs on the back. And I have one more stock leaf spring left, you know, from the stock leaf springs that came with the truck. And then I've got I actually have 4 more of these red ones. Like I had bought these a little while ago, so there's my one stock back leaf spring right there. And there's the 4 red ones. When I broke that one red leaf spring on the back, I ordered these. So that was a month or so ago when I ordered those for replacements or whatever. But so nevertheless, at least I got a spare spring or whatever to put in there. So I'm going to replace the spring here in a couple minutes and get this baby back up and running. This is still my favorite vehicle. Sorry about that, my dog barking at something. So yeah, like I said, this is still my favorite truck. So, you know, nobody get all upset or anything because I'm working on this thing, you know, for a side project. I just need another vehicle to put on camera, you know. So that's the whole reason I bought this, you know. And in hindsight, yeah, I should have got a Vatera, you know, or something that was a little bit stronger, because this thing, like I said, by the time I get done with it, it's not going to be a WL Toys anymore. It's going to be, you know, a Frankenstein. So, like I said, I probably, you know, hindsight is 20/20. You know, you get what you pay for. So, you know, anybody out there who's, you know, thinking about getting a WL Toys 10428 or whatever, you know, I don't know, maybe rethink your options and look at some of the name brand cars like Vatera or Axial or RC 4-wheel drive or Traxxas. You know, you look at some of those first, and you know, do your research and whatnot, and really check them out, and try to find some people that are putting up good, solid, honest videos about the vehicles. You know, like I'm telling you. You know, I'm telling you all the bad points about the truck. I'm telling you about how I upgraded to stronger pins and everything else is breaking on it. You know, I haven't really seen anybody else, you know, on YouTube talking about, you know, the bad points of this truck. Everybody's, you know, oh, this truck is awesome, and for the price and blah blah blah, it's great. You know, well, it is pretty good, I guess, if you're just gonna, you know, mess around and drive around in your front yard. But if you actually plan on crawling with the truck or doing any kind of wheeling with it, you know, or going off road with it, it's just gonna break on you. You know, I mean, and it's gonna snowball. Like, it's going to snowball like crazy. As soon as you start upgrading things, other things are going to break, and before you know it, you're going to have $600 wrapped up into it. You know, and it's pretty much going to be a Vatera at that point in time, or it's going to be all Vanquish products or whatever. You're probably just better off buying the higher end, you know, models to begin with, and they'll probably last longer. You know, they have better plastic. Like I said, the plastic on this is super soft and flexible, which is great for absorbing impacts, but horrible for holding screws. The screws, you know, strip out in the blink of an eye. As soon as it's flush, if you turn it anywhere past flush, just to snug it down a little bit, you're stripping the threads out of it. It's like putting a screw in butter. So, like I said, I don't even know. I have to really think about this truck. If I really want to go any farther with it, I need to see how much it's going to cost to do all the upgrades to it and to change everything out the metal, and see if it's even worth it. You know, I mean, at this point in time, I can take the wheels off it and put it on my truck. I can take all these parts off of it and use them somewhere down the line for fabricating something. So I mean, it's not a total loss. Or I can use the parts to help my buddy Thano, keep his WL Toys truck that he bought just recently, to keep that thing going or whatever. So I don't know. This thing is questionable whether I upgrade to metal or whether I take it out of commission and just convert it to a parts vehicle, or what I'm going to do with it. Up in the air on that one. But as far as the beast goes here, old Gossamer, whatever you want to call him, this big boy is still my favorite, man. I love this truck, and it's a beast, like I said. So I'm gonna get this baby up and running here in a couple of minutes. Put this other leaf spring on it. I plan on going back over to Thanos' house later on today, and shooting some more videos in that cool little ravine area that we've spotted, and try to show Thanos some of the finer points of RC while we're out there, or some of the finer points of scale crawling. So yeah, that's my game plan for right now. Get the beast fixed up, and yeah, be back out on the trail and making some more videos. So thanks for watching, everybody. This is Jim from JCRC. Any questions on anything, feel free to ask. I'll be happy to help you out. And any questions on the WL Toys, like I said, I'll be happy to help you out on that guy too. But as it stands right now, I'm, like I said, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's I have to, start looking online and seeing what prices are on all differential parts and half shafts and drive shafts and axles and all that good nonsense and gearboxes, and go from there. So thanks for watching, everybody. Y'all have a great day. Click like and subscribe. Share with your friends. We'll see you. Thanks again.